I forgot to add us. Welcome to I would like us and I was like, oh, about in thing. Anyway, welcome to a special episode of Scoreboard Addicts podcast. We are doing a little Thanksgiving Eve. We weren't able to do last week. We all got hung up with stuff. Nick was away, and tomorrow's Thanksgiving, so we figured we can't do another Thursday, so might as well let's try to meet up on Wednesday. Do a little pre-holiday talk here, I guess, a little drinking. Right?
It's literally just let's shoot the shit. Let's sip a beer, sip on some whiskey, some bourbon, anything. I don't care. Coca-Cola, cup of coffee, whatever. And just shoot the breeze, right? It doesn't have to be anything special. It's just hanging out because we happen to be old and married and have kids, and we don't go out on Thanksgiving Eve anymore. No, mostly because then you have to call somebody like Rook to bail you out of jail because you get a DUI. Because everybody knows if you want to get a DUI, you drink and drive tonight.
Yes, that is true. This is the really bad night. I mean, this night, the cops are all over the place. I remember when I was younger, I was being an idiot leaving Burrito Bar, and the cops immediately stopped me because I had a drink in my hand, not realizing I left the bar. Because out of it, and they're like, do you want to get rid of that? And I'm like, oh, shit. I just tossed it across the street. And then next thing you know, they're like, I'm talking to them, and they're like, leave us alone. Like, we were letting you go, bro. Just leave.
Right.
Before we get in more trouble, so I walked away. But it's amateur hour tonight. I mean, if there's
big time
night, it's amateur hour. It is Thanksgiving Eve. Everybody comes home. No one's in the city right now. If you're in the city, it's probably pretty much dead because everyone who lives in the city is home. It's mostly just go to local dive bars. Hopefully, catching up with your high school friends or people you don't like from high school. You run into them as well. The bad part of Thanksgiving Eve, but still a fun night. It's a good night to get a couple of drinks with your old friends, catch up. So I figured, why don't we do that as the podcast? I mean, even though I see TJ all the time, but it's still nice to kind of just talk about it and talk about some holiday stuff. And I think we should just get into it because, like we said, we're talking about drinking. Let's just let me find it because I know this is Nick's job typically.
Yeah, Nick is definitely underappreciated, you know?
Yeah,
he kills it.
He knows what all of them are. He knows what every
absolutely.
And he's busy tonight, and I'm jealous of him. He's at a steakhouse, so
his uncle's steakhouse. So he's getting the listen. His uncle runs fantastic restaurants. We've been to them multiple times. We always get hooked up. I mean, whether it's free food or beers, or I mean, the bill comes out and it's like $30. And we've eaten and drank all night. His uncle's the man, knows how to run a business, has run multiple different restaurants, different styles of restaurants. And Nick has talked about his uncle's steakhouse nonstop. We still haven't got there. We got to go, all of us.
Yeah, we do.
Nick's getting hooked up tonight. He's walking out of there like, which is crazy right before Thanksgiving, like probably the most fat day of the year other than maybe 4th of July, right? Like if you think about the eating holidays, I stuff my face in the 4th of July and then add beer and everything else to it. And then Thanksgiving, it's like, if I'm not comatose Al Bundying by like 7 o'clock watching football and nodding off on the couch, there's a problem.
Yeah, I was think Christmas is pretty big eating a lot of food and holiday. Christmas Eve anyway. Get some fish, 7 fishes, Get a little Italian food. My family used to have, we were Italian and Hispanic, so we used to have, pasta. And then we used to have rice and beans, which is like all that stuff is just so heavy. And then drinking coquito and eggnog and everything. I love the holidays. It's a good time. So let's get into it. So talking about drinking.
Whiskey of the week.
So we're not wasting any time. TJ, You're on mute. Oh, yeah. So we have whiskey of the week. What are you sipping on tonight, sir?
So tonight I'm going with. I'm sorry, I gotta like pour it and handle this all weird. A little Woodford Reserve batch proof. This came out about 3 years ago. I want to say I grabbed this because it was the highest batch proof that they made. This is 128.3, and I mean I've drank about half of this. Drunk about half of this. That's the right way to say it. It's an allocated bottle, but you could find it out there in the wild for not too much over MSRP because it's an expensive bottle. It goes for over $100 just on its own. That's one thing that people don't understand. Like Blanton's is a $60 bottle. Eagle Rare is a $36 bottle. Just because you walk in a liquor store and see it for $70 doesn't mean that that's what it costs. This one sitting on the shelf, you're not going to see it for under $120. So people tend to stay away from it, not take the chance on it. But honestly, I'm glad I did. This is the closest to George T. Stagg that I've ever had. And George T. Stagg obviously being the, BTAC Buffalo Trace Antique Series, $180 bottle, I think now is MSRP, $170 bottle. But you're never going to see it for less than like $900 on a shelf. It's that rare. And this honestly compares to it the best. On the nose, you definitely get the proof on the nose. But it rounds out. It's very subtle smoke on it, like that oakiness, and then sweetness right away. And on the palate, dude, there's that George T. Stagg reminiscent, like sweet, dark cherry cordial that just coats the palate, and then you get the typical bourbon flavors, the vanillas and the caramel and stuff. But it's that initial hit of that like sweet cherry cordial that's just unmistakable. That's why I love this. If I see a bottle of this sitting on the shelf, I don't care if it's $300. I'm grabbing it.
That's pretty awesome. I bought myself the Elijah Craig Toasted Barrel. I'm a fan of Elijah Craig. Makes solid.
Let me know what you think about that. This is the first time you're having it?
Yeah, I never had the toasted one. I had regular Elijah Craig.
Okay, because I've had it before, and well, let's see what you think about it.
Yeah, I'm.
Cheers, by the way.
I had an ice cube in it, and I spilled it.
You're making a mess. That's it. It's okay.
We're live, folks. We're live.
We'll do it live.
Let's do it live.
It's all right. My son. We started the show with my son hacking up a lung. Poor bastards had a fever for like 5 days. Went to the doctor, loaded him up with Tylenol and all this decongestant crap, and everybody apparently is sick. Like,
yeah.
My in-laws are all sick. We're still going to their house for Thanksgiving. We're trying to avoid getting my sister sick because she happens to be pregnant. My parents are traveling. You try not to get anybody sick, and I hate being that like family that everybody looks at like, oh, wasn't their son sick the other day, and now we're all sick. Like, I don't want that stigma. Everybody looks to blame somebody.
And that was we had texted Matt. He didn't even answer. So feel better, Matt, if you are.
No, he actually reached back out. He's like, "Yo, dude, I feel like crap. I got a low grade fever.
Yeah,
I'm just sleeping in."
That's what I'm saying. Like people aren't feeling well. It sucks. So hopefully everyone feels well enough for the holidays and the ruining holidays. As you said, you're going anyway. So it doesn't matter. But so I tasted this. It's actually really good. It's smooth. On the back end, like usually, there's no Kentucky burn, like we said, right? Like whenever we got those high proofs, it is 94 proof, so it's not like too crazy. The smell isn't like it's a little oaky, that like wood flavor, not as like high ethanol. Like when I drink Stag Junior, I like just sniff it. It's like it hits you in the face. No, it's very smooth. It's actually really good. I like it. It's toasted barrel, so it's toasted new oak barrels. Well, it's finished in toasted new oak barrels, and it's a small batch, and then it's finished into that. So it's basically a small batch of Elijah Craig.
It's double oak, pretty much.
Yeah,
it's double finished. It's double oaked. It's the same deal. So since it's a finished bourbon, it's a double oaked. Compared to the other ones like that, which obviously is you're gonna go Woodford double oaked, and then I would say Old Forester 1910 is up there for me. This one falls short, and this one was hard to get for a long time. The Elijah Craig toasted. Yeah, dude. even until last year, that was considered an allocated bottle. And then at the end of last year, early into this year, they're released. You started seeing it more. But when I first got that, it was kind of like I was BSing with the manager at a liquor store, and he kind of was like, "Hey, I just got something in. Since you're a bourbon guy, you might appreciate it," and gave it for MSRP. It was like $62.
It's not bad.
So the whole rest of that year and the year after, because I got this about two and a half years ago, it was literally like $95 on the shelves, $100. It was dude, it was rare. It was allocated just because it didn't get out there much. And the crazy part is, me and McCormick have had this a bunch, and we both agree. We're like, people go nuts for this. Like, I'll take 1910 or double oaked every day of the week and twice on Sunday over this. It falls short of the sweetness. Like, you would expect it to be a little more sweet.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Now you mentioned it, it's not a sweet flavor.
Like compared to the double oak. Like when you sip on double oak, you're like, wow, that's sweet.
Yeah, no, I do like double oaked in 1910 definitely better than this, but I bet it's not terrible. I'll definitely drink it and enjoy it. But yeah, I agree with that. And like usually when I taste a bourbon, I would say like, oh, it's a sweet bourbon. Like what did I just have? Castle and Key.
How was that?
It's actually really good. I almost finished the bottle because it's actually
nice.
It is it's not expensive. I think it was like 45, maybe 50.
Yeah.
And it's like sweet. I looked up because I'm not great with the palate. I'm always like, oh, it's sweet. I can't really figure out what it is though. And I looked it up and it's like apples and like peach flavors you get in there.
Mm-hmm.
So it is very sweet. It's very good. If you're a bourbon drinker like us and you want to try something new, try Castle and Key.
Castle and Key was their distillery experience was in our hotel in Louisville.
Right. Yeah, they had the
we just always we were just never there when it was open.
Yeah, that's right. It was weird. It was like weird hours and everything.
Well, no, because we were always leaving the hotel either in the morning or then out all day and then getting back late, and it was already closed. Well, not late, even getting back at like 6, 7 before we'd go up to dinner or something like that. Like they had like very afternoony hours, like 11 to 5.
Yeah, I remember they closed by like 5. That whole area like that, it was cool in the hotel. They had like the bar there and everything.
Yeah.
The Mexican place, the pizza place, but they all closed like super early.
Well, but the Speakeasy stayed open, but that's the one thing. If I have to say anything about Louisville, it's don't get suckered into the Speakeasies. You do one and that's it. Find a cool one, and because they're all the same gimmick, and that gimmick is dimly lit. Everybody's kind of dressed semi oldie time, classically. Bartenders are dressed up a little bit, bow tie. And the drinks are like $33 a cocktail. Because it's like, oh, it's this, it's that. It's like, okay, yeah, you put a fancy name on that. That's a Manhattan. It's got like 3 ingredients, and it's not worth $30.
Our hotel had the bowling alley Speakeasy,
which the bowling alley they ripped us off. But I mean, when else are you gonna like get hammered and bowl like in your hotel basement?
Yeah, basically. And the one drink they had there was I think it was called. Was it Sting? I think it's Sting Like a Bee.
Yeah, something like that. Yes.
It was Sting Like a Bee, and it was basically, I think it was bourbon, like Pinot Noir on top of it, and a little honey like liqueur in it. It was really good, but it was like $18, $20 for it.
Well, I was gonna say I like the drinks better at the Speakeasy we went to in our hotel. With the Omni in Louisville.
Yeah.
So the Speakeasy and the Omni was cool. It had the bowling alley, but yeah, the drinks were expensive, but the drinks were very good. I'm not going to say that they weren't bad. Even the other Speakeasy, what was it? The Red Door or whatever it was called?
Hell or High Water.
High Water, yeah, I guess.
Yeah. The Red Door one.
Yeah, the Red Door one.
It's behind Old Forester, basically. If you're ever in Louisville,
the distillery.
Old Forester's in the front. You walk around the block and you'll see it.
And they make you get a reservation in advance. The one in the Omni, you don't need a reservation. You just walk right in. And it's right across from the steakhouse. It's like a painting that's not a painting. You just walk right through it. The door's open the whole time anyway. Like they didn't even close it.
There's no secret to it.
Yeah,
it's supposed to be a painting. Supposed to be the painting is blocking the door and you're supposed to knock and get in, but they just leave the painting open. So
they're like, no, just come downstairs and give us $30 a drink.
Yeah, like why are we making this difficult? People to start spending that money.
The Hell or High Water probably was a little more of that old school ambiance of I would say like old school like gangster style like Speakeasy bar. It definitely had that vibe going. but I wasn't impressed by the drinks. They were okay at best.
I actually didn't like the drinks there at all. I ordered one, and the girl was like, "Oh, that's actually not alcoholic." I'm like, "Oh, the one I actually like the flavors that were in it was just no alcohol." I was like, "All right." She goes, "You still want it?" I'm like, "No, I'm gonna go to a bachelor party. I'm getting alcohol and drink."
I feel like, yeah, seriously. I feel like their drinks were very like floral based. Everything was like with elderflower liqueur or this or that. And I'm like, yo,
like a gin with that. Yeah,
that's what I mean. Like, I'm like, yo, I don't want to fucking drink a houseplant. Come on, like.
And it was a cool place though. Like they had like the library in the back, and the seats were like leather, like mahogany bound books, whatever.
My apartment smells of rich mahogany many leather bound books.
Like it's basically what it was in the back, and it was really cool. I took a couple pictures in there, but yeah, like I wouldn't go back. Like if anyone's going to like, someone recently was texting me like they heard you went to Louisville. Where would you want to go? I'm like, avoid that place. Like, don't bother. It's cool if you want like the speakeasy experience, but you could easily go to the Omni and do the same thing, and it's pretty much
the regular bars too. Bounce around. Listen, the hole in the wall bars are the best, I would say.
The Third Street Dive was a lot of
Third
fun.
Street Dive, which was right behind the Omni, like right next to this parking lot.
Yeah.
They did karaoke every night. It was a locals bar. We definitely got a little side eye going every time we walked in there the 2 nights we were there. But I think it was what, $4 Coronas.
Yeah, it was. I think we even got like I was drinking like what was it?
A shot in the beers for like $6 if you did
a shot in a beer. I had a Pabst Blue Ribbon and a shot of I think it was Jameson. No, it was a
Jim
shot
Beam
of,
or something like that.
Jim Beam, sorry, Jim Beam, and it was probably $6 every time that I went. And I had like 4 or 5 of those, and you're good, you know. And then even I had a couple of the Surfsides. Even those were the High Noon. Sorry, the High Noon.
High Noons. Yeah, no, they were only what, $7.
They're like $7, yeah, which is reasonable for.
I paid. What was that? What was the name of that? 4th Street Live, where they had the bands playing and shit like that.
Yeah, it's not worth it.
They had a concert going, and they wanted everybody to pay $30 to get in the street. I'm like, no, I'm good. I don't even know who's performing. They end up like after 20 minutes of the show going, they're like, all right, just open it up anyway, because all the businesses are like, why is nobody in here drinking? Yeah, they don't give a shit. You're doing a concert.
And we sat next to the pizza place there, which is like, for some reason, they have like half the street cornered off. So you can't walk around. You have to go through this entrance to pay the fee. But if you just say no and you stand next to the pizzeria, you could watch the entire show for free. And it's like the dumbest thing ever.
No, it's not the dumbest thing ever. The pizza place has a gold mine because that's the edge of where the concert's going. I walk in and I'm like, oh, cool. We're just going to stand here, I guess. Can I get a Corona? And
I'm saying it was
$11. I was like, wow.
For the concert place, it's dumb though. Like for us, it was great because we could.
Yeah, no, I agree. But that pizza place making a gold mine because like they have a big sign. It's like $3 slices or whatever it was. So I'm like, oh, okay, I'll go in for a slice and let me get a Corona. The beers were $11. It's like, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That whole area, like if you're going to Louisville,
it's a tourist trap.
Like, it's a tourist trap. Don't even bother
100%.
going. There's a couple of cool places that we didn't even get to go in, but the piano bar. They had the bull riding, which is kind of sounds like a cool place to be. We didn't get to go in because we weren't going to pay $30 to get.
Not only that, we were asking a lot of. I mean, listen, growing up in New York City, we know the deal. You talk to the wait staff in the city you're in, and you ask them where they go. So that's the first thing we did. The first bar we went to when we got there, we were like, "Hey, where would you hang out tonight?" And she's like, "Oh, you got to go to Third Street Dive. That's where the locals hang out." She's like, "It's cheap." Alcohol, fun atmosphere, and she was right. It was awesome. Like we said, karaoke every night, pool table in the back. They had the fight on, the UFC fight on that one night.
UFC fights, yeah, that was fun.
So we got to watch UFC fight. It was great. And then she gave us a couple like, oh, if you want bourbon, go here, here, here. But they get expensive, get touristy. But she literally said, she was like, all over here on Whiskey Row, like stay away from it. It's just they're gonna destroy you in your bar tabs. And she was right. And then she was like, yeah, 4th Street Live is just a tourist trap. Don't go there. She's like, it's a waste of time.
And the other place she gave us was Taj, which I was like, oh, I'm like, we didn't even go in there until the last night because we went back to the speakeasy, me, Nick's uncle Mickey, and his cousin. The 3 of us, the only guys left. Everyone went to bed. It was after Third Street Dive. And we went to the bartender, and the guy was like, I'm from Miami, I'm from New York, now I live in Louisville. And he's been all over. And we're like, where do you go after this? Like, when you leave here, because the bar, but the speakeasy was about to close. He's like, I'm going to go to Taj. And we're like, oh, like that's the place the waitress told us. Is that really that good? He's like, Taj is awesome. It's open until like 4 a.m. Go check it out. It was like 1 o'clock in the morning. We're like, all right, we'll take a cab over there. I mean, it was actually a really nice place. They had a lot of bourbons,
Nice.
the taste, which I had a couple of those. And then they had the same thing. We were drinking high noons. They were like $7 each. They had like you walked in, it was a main bar there. And then you went to the back of it. It had like a little alleyway. You would follow it. And you went to the back. It was like, it looked like a shed, but it was a bar. Like they just had a bar inside. It's like shed doors open, whole area, people hang out, dancing. It was a lot of fun. We were there till like 3 a.m. in the morning, and there's a pizza place next door. And then I checked my credit card bill later on. I ordered 3 slices and like a water.
Nice.
$35.
Oh, yeah. You're not dumb.
I probably didn't realize it. I was just like, tap, whatever. And then
listen, at that point, you're drunk. You're getting it. Yeah. They could be like, listen, cut off your pinky or else you're not getting a slice. You'd be like, all right.
Yeah. And then those slices, one of the slices I had, I bought it for Andres and Uncle Mickey. And then they didn't want it. So I have like 3 slices heading upstairs. And I run into a bunch of lacrosse players from the PLL because they were in town from the All-Star. Yeah. And I was pretending to know. I'm like, oh yeah, I definitely heard you guys. They're like, really? I'm like, no idea who any of you guys are.
Yeah.
And like, can we get a slice? I'm like, yeah, you can get a slice. So I give the guy a slice. He's eating it. He goes, yeah, we play for the Boston one. I'm like, give me the fucking slice back. I don't like that. Give me the slice back. And he's like, oh, really? I'm like, no. I'm like, I'm not getting, you already ate half of it. But they were cool guys. And I don't know if Boston won the championship. They were the best team though. They had like
we went there in the wrong week though. Like we caught the tail end. Our fucking hotel was filled with all like what? 14-year-old girls that played basketball. There was some weird basketball tournament.
It was a run for the roses.
Right, which is whatever. Except when you're a group of guys at a bachelor party and you're hanging out in the pool and every girl in a bikini is like under the age of 15, just sunbathing and walking around and goofing around. And it's like, we're the fucking only guys up here. This is creepy.
Yeah, we like laughed. They were there for like 5 minutes. Like, you gotta leave.
It was just so like, and everybody's like, why? It's only creepy if you make it creepy. It's like, no, it's like that like dude that's standing next to a park and it's like, I don't think he has a kid. Why is he looking into the park? Like, it's one of those situations. Like, we're all sitting there drinking, goofing around, cursing, being loud and obnoxious, doing the New York thing, being assholes, whatever. And it's like, oh, it's like, I don't think we should be here.
Yeah. Well, I know the best part about that was I was like, oh, I need a drink to order. And I asked Uncle Mickey, I was like, oh, what are you drinking? He's like, oh, it's just like bourbon and like a whiskey sour. I was like, almost like a whiskey sour kind of. Like, all right, cool. So he gives it to me. I order it, comes in, I drink it, and I'm like, this tastes like pineapple. He goes, oh yeah, there's pineapple there. I go, yeah, I'm allergic to pineapple.
Oh my God.
He's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm like, nah, it's fine. I'm like,
there's no pineapple in whiskey sours.
No, it wasn't a whiskey sour. It was something totally different. But he was like, oh, it's like sour mix and bourbon. Sour mix and bourbon. I'm like, all right, that sounds like I can have that. And then it wasn't. Nothing.
Yeah. Oh shit.
And
so you know what?
I found someone on TikTok who's like posted videos while they're in Louisville, kind of what we did. And they did Buffalo Trace, they did Woodford, but they also did the Castle and Key, the old Taylor distillery. Okay. And they showed videos. Like we saw it from outside. It looks cool. It's like,
it looked nice. Very old.
But he posted pictures of inside and it looked actually even cooler. So I'm like, oh, if I ever go to Louisville again, I'm going to have to do a tour of this place. It looks really cool.
Louisville was fun for like, obviously we had a bachelor party. We drove into Indiana and played golf. Awesome golf course. I forget what something point. Champions Point, maybe?
I think, Champions Point. It was Fuzzy Zeller's
yes.
It was like Fuzzy Zeller's call.
Yes. Awesome course. Very nice. The staff was excellent. The course itself was beautiful. Had a great time, then drove back in, hung out in Louisville. If you're in Louisville to do the distillery tours, then that's what you're there to do. Like, everything else is a tourist trap. Everything else is a ripoff. Like even like going to the Louisville Slugger. I'm like tongue-tied now. The Louisville Slugger Factory was cool, but it's one of those things where it's like, if we didn't also have 50 other things planned that day, like you can't spend a day in there. We spent maybe an hour and 15 minutes in there.
Yeah, I mean, the tour is like 30 minutes. And like, it's really just like, here's the wood. Here's us shaving the wood. Here's the wood being shaved into bats.
Don't put your fingers in that machine.
Yeah. Here's how we paint the bats. And here's your free bat.
Yeah, that's the best
Totally.
part. The bat is the best part.
Yeah.
The weirdest part was walking through the store and seeing the bats that we just got for taking the tour, and the tour cost us what, $20?
Yeah.
And they're selling the bats that we just got for free for $16. So it's like, okay, so either way, I'd be buying something from Louisville Slugger. I was like, so the tour really cost you $4. That's not bad, because I definitely would have bought a mini bat.
Yeah.
But then I'm standing there with my mini bat that I didn't pay for, I got for free, when they're selling them there, and I'm like just walking around with no receipt. I'm like, maybe I should walk out of here right now.
I feel like they know, like, everyone who's coming here probably already has.
I don't know. It just weirded me out because they were the same fucking bats. I was like,
they were.
They know who glommed one and who took the tour.
Well, the funny thing is, my nephew won his state championship the weekend before we got there. So I had planned to buy him a bat at Louisville, so I get it like engraved.
Yeah,
and they don't sell the mini bats engraved. You got to buy like a legit tile bat. It was like $75, and like engravings like another 25, whatever. So I was like, all right. I love my nephew, but I'll just look online for something cheaper. And I did. I got him a mini bat from some place, Phoenix Bats.
Oh yeah, Phoenix Bats. That's a good bat company.
Yeah, it was a mini bat. I got to put on I got his name on, his number, the state championship, everything, and he loved it. He was like, "This is awesome."
That's sick.
So it was better than Louisville Slugger. Sorry, Louisville Slugger. It's a cool trip. Cool museum, but you got to sell mini bats with engravings. Otherwise, we're going to Phoenix Bats.
So, you know what? We haven't touched on much of the holiday yet. Thanksgiving tomorrow. I don't know about you, but me, it's bouncing between houses, like I said, with my parents and stuff like that, and then my sister-in-law and brother-in-law's house and all that stuff. Awesome time. It involves traversing Staten Island, and then nothing but traffic. Tomorrow's going to be pretty cool because my brother-in-law is a diehard Dolphins fan, and the Dolphins are playing tomorrow night. So I'll be sitting there crushing bottles of wine with him while he either has a nervous breakdown, throws something through the TV, or runs out in the front yard shirtless celebrating.
Who are they playing?
Should be a really good. What's that?
Who are they playing?
Oh, I don't even know, honestly. Honestly, it's funny. You guys know this. I've completely tuned out of football because of the Jets. Completely tuned out of football. It's just.
Well, we got the Lions and Bears in the morning. I mean, in the afternoon. Then you have the Giants.
Packers. They play the Packers. Sorry.
Oh, Packers. That's a big good game.
Yep, at 8:20. No, it's definitely gonna be a great game. But yeah, I mean, you're a Giants fan. You're in the same boat. It's just, but the Jets do this to us every year.
I'm not in the same boat.
You're in the same boat.
I'm not, because the Dolphins have an expectation of possibly winning, and the Giants.
No, I'm talking about the Jets.
Oh, for that, I'm just with the.
No, the Jets and Giants. I'm saying we're in the same boat. So I'm saying I tuned out of football, and me and Nick said this before the year, because we were hyped up. Aaron Rodgers should be healthy all season. Like, we got something to look forward to. The young guys are going to step up. All this other shit, and then once again, 5 weeks into the fucking year, I'm done with the year. I don't want to watch it. You're ruining my Sunday. I get 1.5 days off a week, literally, and my Sunday gets shot to shit because you guys just can't do the simple things. And we have a first ballot Hall of Fame quarterback, and we still can't fucking make anything happen. It's a travesty, dude. If you're watching this season compared to last season, we were better last season.
It actually proved that, like, his injury last season was more devastating than anything, because that team was much better. The defense was better. You guys won 7 games with Zach Wilson and Tim Boyle as your quarterbacks. Like, it sucks. I feel for you, Jet fans, because it's like, we got Aaron Rodgers here. We're excited for a big season. Gets injured immediately. You still have a decent team, but you just don't have the quarterback. And then you come back. Well, we have most of the same guys coming back. We should be good this year. And we have Aaron Rodgers. The problem is Aaron Rodgers is a year older, and he's coming back for an injury. And he's just not the same guy. He doesn't have that ability to, like, what made Aaron Rodgers great in the Packers is that if a rush came, he knew how to escape. He could move it, use his legs a little bit. He wasn't a good rusher, but he just knew how to avoid that. That's gone ever since that leg injury. And he's not the same guy. He can still throw the ball, obviously, but it's just not the same. And some of the throws he does make, I'm watching Jet games too. Some of them he makes is like the throws he was making with the Packers, but he had such chemistry with the Packers that I feel like some of the receivers on the Jets don't know the ball's coming. It's just like he just slings it out there, thinking they're going to catch it, and they're just not ready for it, and they're just not on the same page. And I mean, I feel for you guys. It's frustrating. I'm a Giant fan. It's not as frustrating as you guys. Our team didn't have the expectations that you guys had. Finally. And I mean, the Giants, I went on a tirade, a 10-minute tirade recently about the whole Daniel Jones thing. And it's a shit show. It just sucks. It's been brutal football season. And like, I'm a guy who I love football. I love watching every game. I have fantasy teams. I'm in a pick'em league. It's just not as much. I'm not even watching the games. It's just like, all right, let me see what the scores are at the end. Let me see what my fantasy guys scored. That's it. I'm not sitting there in front of the TV all Sunday long. I'm hanging out with the kids. I'm going pumpkin picking. I'm going to farms. It's not the same. The Giants and Jets have ruined that for us. I think
dude,
you could agree with that.
It's what's fucked up. It's the fact that like I look forward to football every year and it gets taken away from me immediately. And you can sit there and say, "Oh, dude, like watch other games." There's, if you're a fan of the sport, like, dude, I'll watch other hockey games. Right now, I'm actually watching Boston Islanders because the Ranger game is on ESPN Plus for whatever reason. So I'll watch hockey. I'll watch other teams. I enjoy the sport. When the Jets suck, it just removes any want or need to watch football for me. Like I don't want to watch Patrick Mahomes light it up. You know what I mean? Like, and there's some exciting stuff going on around the league. Like the Bills and Josh Allen are doing their thing. Yeah. Fucking Detroit is just, I mean,
they're killing it. They're on a mission, man.
Talking about a juggernaut team right now. But it's when you're a fan of a team that just lets you down every year within 5 or 6 weeks. It gets frustrating, and I don't want anything to do with football, and I'm getting sick of it. And it just goes to show you that it's not just a quarterback issue in New York. It's
team.
Yeah.
It's building rosters. It's just not there. And it sucks because I hate the constant turnover with the Giants lately because we had such consistency with Tom Coughlin and, Jerry Reese for such a long time. And then you brought in Gettleman. It just sucks to constantly change coaches. I don't know if they both survive. Like I think it kind of sucks. I actually do like Dable. I think he's a good coach. I think he has a good mentality to be a head coach. And I think I don't want them to get. I don't want them to get fired. I guess the one time, like when the Giants have sucked, I've always been like Joe Judge. I blamed him. Pat Shurmur. I blamed. What's his name? Who's the other guy before McAdoo? But when it came to Dable, I don't blame him. I really don't.
Well, don't blame me because we have a special guest. Boom! Welcome, Joe Sikoa.
Let's go
to the Scoreboard Addicts podcast.
What's going on, fellas? Long time since I've had a guest spot here, but the reason why I'm jumping in is number one, it's Thanksgiving Eve, so there's just like that extra feeling on Thanksgiving Eve when it comes to sports and stuff. But I also have a little bit of an announcement to make here. So our guy over here, Rook, was entered in a raffle, which was part of my fundraiser in raising money for my, I lost my mom 20 years ago to breast cancer. And we've been doing some raffles and stuff. And Ant, I just want to say congratulations. You are the winner of 4 Yankee tickets for 2025. There it is.
Thank you, sir. Look at that.
So
I appreciate you jumping on. What good news.
I had a message TJ. I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be perfect. Let me jump on the show and announce it to you."
Dude, thank you. I appreciate that. And I know we donated to that. I know that event, unfortunately fell apart, and we wish it could have happened. But it looked like you were doing a good job and raising a lot of stuff. So are you doing well with it? How's that fundraising going?
Yeah, no, everything has been going really good. Most of these prizes or raffles have pretty much almost filled to capacity. Obviously, there's more popular ones than another. We still have a few more to go. We still have a couple of games. I think I have if you got Staten Island Ferry Hawk fans, I got Brooklyn Cyclone tickets. I got New York Red Bull tickets.
Nice.
I still got some restaurants. There's a Meat Supreme out here in Staten Island that gave me something for it as well. So still got some good raffles. So just for anybody, just keep checking out my social media pages where I have the link and stuff like that. But it's actually been a good 2 nights in a row for for your side of the family over there, your brother-in-law Andrew won Ranger tickets last night.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah, he won the
Oh, that's
Ranger.
awesome.
He won the Ranger raffle last night. So
Nice.
I should go talk about, like, hey, you want to take me to the Yankee? I'll take you to the Yankee game. You take me to the Ranger game.
yeah, there you go. At least with the Yankee tickets, you got 4 tickets. It's super nice. I have their certificate here, so I'm sure when I see you on Christmas Day, if you come over to
Yeah, of course.
to the
Thank
family,
you.
I'll give it to you, and the
And
contact information's on there.
Joe, why don't you send us the information? We could like tweet it out, see if we get some more people
Yeah.
interested. Because it's
No, yeah,
really
absolutely. I
good
will
calls,
definitely do
and
that.
it was awesome.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you for jumping on. That is awesome because I love the Yankees, and that's gonna be Sienna's first game. So yeah, we'll have to buy an extra ticket probably. But we'll deal with it.
Right,
But
yeah,
no,
listen,
thank you
make
so
sure you
much.
go to guest services and tell them it's Sienna's first game. They'll give her a nice, cool like certificate and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
Pretty sick.
thank you, Joe. Thanks for jumping on. And Joe, since
course.
we're talking about the Thanksgiving holiday, can you give some of your favorite like what's your favorite part of Thanksgiving? Like food? Is it the football? Is it the drinks? We're looking forward to tomorrow. I know
You know
have
what's really-
It's going to be ripping up your tickets in front of your face and laughing at you.
No, we're gonna be different places tomorrow. He's not coming
yeah,
to
we're in
this
different places tomorrow.
Oh shit.
But
Oh,
you know
damn.
what's really funny is I actually had this debate with my 5th graders probably for the last week. And if you just oblige, and I'll give you my favorite part of Thanksgiving. So my conversation was because one of my 5th graders was literally fighting me on this. I said, all right, I personally think Thanksgiving food selection is better than Christmas Eve food selection. And that was the debate for the week.
Yeah.
Okay. Take the holiday aspect out of it because Christmas is my favorite holiday.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I'm talking about the selection of food because it all depends on the household that you're in on Christmas Eve. It's mostly fish in the Italian household.
Yeah.
And not everybody likes fish. And I also feel like you can eat fish pretty much anytime you want, just like you can eat all of the Thanksgiving stuff. But I just feel like Thanksgiving food specifically, like we have that one day out of the year. And I just think I like the selection of food for Thanksgiving more than I like the selection of food for Christmas Eve. But when it
Valid.
comes,
I mean, can't argue any of those points.
Yeah, and that's true.
It's a winning argument. How many kids were suspended for coming up with a different argument? Because like that's just grounds for suspension. 5th grade, I understand you're not eating as much, but and maybe it's because I'm a fat son of a bitch. There's nothing better than stuffing your face with just like starchy, hearty food, just biscuits, gravy, turkey, mashed potatoes, sweet
and that's
potatoes,
the thing, right? Turkey,
and then sitting on the couch.
turkey, you literally have once a year. Like if you're having a turkey at a different holiday, I mean, it is what it is. Some people do a turkey on Christmas Day, but mostly it's a Christmas ham and stuff like that.
Christmas ham is key.
But like that was all they tried to argue with me and say, well, I get macaroni and chicken cutlets. I go, you can eat that any day of the week.
Any day, yes.
If you don't eat the fish, then it's on you. That's why I firmly believe the Thanksgiving food selection is better than Christmas Eve. And again, I'm arguing with 5th graders, but I mean, I also taught them a lesson in debating, which, I
like it.
Is good in the courts, right, Ant?
Well, how many people cried and screamed and yelled and said it's not fair and they need a safe space? That's the question.
No, they were pretty.
Because amazingly, I was going to say, amazingly, when you get the kids young, none of that exists, and then all of a sudden they hit college and adults can't cope.
No, the good thing is I'm in Tottenville, so the kids are actually like it's like legit. Like I have like more than half the class are Italians, which is
They get it. But I like the turkey. You think about turkey, you don't really have often. Stuffing, how often do you have stuffing? Gravy, like meat gravy. And
I have gravy a lot, but again, I'm fat.
cranberry, like
cranberry sauce is the one that's like literally 362 days out of the year, you will walk by a dusty set of cans that haven't moved at all, and then like the 2.5 days before Thanksgiving, it's like, oh shit, you guys ran out of cranberry sauce. It's like, this is the only time people buy it.
Yeah, listen, you can't go wrong with the turkey. That's my favorite part. The stuffing. Listen, you can have mashed potatoes anytime. You can have corn anytime. Usually cornbread, if there's cornbread thrown out on the table, depending on a Thanksgiving there. The cranberry sauce. It's like when it comes out of the can, and you can tell that it's got the
You see the
can marks
ridges?
and stuff,
Absolutely.
the ridges and stuff like that. But listen, if I had to give though, like outside of that, I did say I will give you one thing when it comes to like the Christmas food selection. The desserts I'll take
I
from Christmas.
I was just about to say Christmas cookies. Like
Yeah. And
top
the
notch.
souffle and all that stuff.
Oh yeah.
But
Absolutely.
and I just like the aspect of sitting around the table watching some football games. Unfortunately, though, I mean, we really got to and I'm sorry, Aunt, like everyone's got to be put through the suffering of the Giants and Cowboys for Thanksgiving, where you have basically backup quarterbacks going.
It's the third straight year that they played on Thanksgiving, by the way.
Yeah, no, yeah.
And it's miserable. Every Thanksgiving's ruined for me because
Yeah, so I mean that's the one thing. That's the one thing. Like I'm kind of glad I don't really have an allegiance on a football team, so I don't have to really get too pissed off, and it ruins my Thanksgiving. But then usually the day after, which is the Thanksgiving showdown that the Rangers usually play, and they're playing in Philadelphia on Friday. So, and they're not looking so great, but they're up 3-2 now at the end of the second period,
all right.
which is nice. Brett Berard got his first NHL goal.
You know what's
But
fun
yeah,
last year, Joe?
just the
Sorry to
aspect
interrupt.
of. I'm sorry,
Go
just
ahead.
the
No,
aspect
sorry. I think you're done. Go ahead.
just the aspect of the food itself, sitting around the table with the family and stuff like that, kicking back a couple of beers and stuff. I think it's just awesome. And yeah, the food is just way better at Thanksgiving.
And there's still money in your account because once Christmas comes, it's like
Yeah.
Other than opening up gifts, right? On Christmas morning and then seeing your family's face and all that good stuff. That's the best. That's what makes it. But right under that is when everything is done, everything is set up. You're home from Christmas Eve, wherever you spent it, whoever's family's house you spent it at. You come home, you get everything settled. Your kids go to bed. Your wife goes off and says, I'm getting tired. I go to bed. And you just sit there with the Christmas tree lit up, drinking a bourbon at 3 a.m., going like, all right, this is what it's all about. And that 5 minutes of bliss. And then you remember it's like fucking credit cards doing 12 days.
Well, TJ, I'm kind of actually in my bliss right now because there's the Christmas tree lit up. You can see it.
Too early.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I love it. Too early.
Now it's not early this year because Thanksgiving's so late. I have mine up too.
The kids have been sleeping since 6:30.
Very nice.
And my wife went to go see Wicked.
Oh, at the house to himself.
So I'm sitting here in nice bliss.
You should have hid the lotion behind you before you.
I think it's the kid lotion.
No, Joe, I was gonna say though, you like gambling on football, even though you're not like an allegiance to someone.
Yeah.
And a good memory was last Christmas Day. They had the Christmas games. It was the Giants Eagles. So the Giants were both my Christmas and my
right.
My
we were at the house talking about this.
And we had made a pick. We said it was gonna be who was the running back last year for them? It was it Sanders?
For who? For
the Eagles.
Oh, I don't know who it was, but I do remember who was it? It was me, you, and
other Joe.
No, wait. Who else was? No. Who was in the pick? It was me, you. Oh, Joe.
Other Joe. Yeah, other Joe.
Other Joe who's no longer in the picture.
He's longer within family circles. You get what I mean?
Did you guys murder of the other Joe? Jesus.
Well, that's what they were. I mean, they're both named Joe. But I'm
just saying that was Soprano-esque. Like, oh, we don't talk about the other Joe.
Well, so he's not in the picture anymore.
We all put the money in together. We put $20 each, and we're like, oh, who should we bet first touchdown score? And I'm like, I kind of feel like Jalen Hurts is gonna get it. And they're like, nah, it's gonna be running back. Running back falls to the 1 yard line.
Yeah,
I'm like, I told you guys, Jalen Hurts next play, tush push, touchdown, Jalen Hurts. I'm like, we just lost like $300.
If there was barely any room, because there's no room on Christmas Day when we're there. I'm sure Ant would have flipped the table, did something if there was room for him to do it because he was saying it the entire time. And it was actually the other. Listen, I went with Ant and Joe's expertise in watching the game. So I was like, listen, whatever you guys go with, just count me in. I mean, yes, like at the time I'm looking at it, like I know Hurts is very capable of, running it in, and they were always known for the tush push and all that stuff. And I was just like, whatever you got to do, I'm just in with whatever. So I relied on them, and I think the other Joe was the one that kind of talked us into going with Sanders instead of Hurts.
Yeah, and we were like, and he was so close to scoring, and then
exactly. So he's not wrong. He wasn't wrong.
No.
It really
right. So
why do I also feel like we also bet something else with me, you, and it was either Uncle Mark or it was not Uncle Mark,
Andrew,
or maybe Andrew, or maybe my father-in-law. I feel like, but we had something. I felt like we also put a ticket in for.
There's nothing like group betting, by the way.
Oh,
you want to talk about amping up the excitement and creating your own little fucking party, especially if you're just at somebody's house and like it's a group of dads. Like, all right, yo, $10 a guy. We'll spend something stupid right here.
Listen, it comes with the territory of we have to do some sort of gambling because then we play left, right, center, and that's more gambling.
Yeah,
it's only $3. You know what I'm saying? But if there's enough of us, it's a pretty big pot. But
yeah, it keeps you the itch. You want to just keep gambling more on sports.
Dude, but any of it, like when we went to Frat Pack last year, we gambled. We were just group betting on stupid nonsense in the sports book because we were drinking and we were like, we have nothing else to do. $5 a guy. Let's just pick something.
Yeah.
And that brings me back to like when I actually used to go to bars and shit, the dive bars that I used to frequent around Staten Island. When Quick Draw was there, it's like, all right, everybody throw $5. We're just going to go for a home run bet. And me and my boy put like $40 on two numbers one time. Like did it like $20 and then like the extra or whatever, the Quick Draw extra. So it times it by 2. So we had to pay $40. We just picked 2 random numbers hit. And it ended up being like $400 and something. And that's what we used to drink the rest of the night.
What do we got Christmas Day? We got the Knicks for sure.
Yes.
Knicks will play Christmas Day. I don't know if
there's no football on Christmas Day, is there? Because it's a Wednesday.
Yeah, there's probably no football.
All right. So at least we have the Knicks. So we'll definitely I feel like with basketball we could probably put a nice ticket in and try to hit something, man. Because I think it was like 2 weeks ago. I think I was one rebound short from what's his name from San Antonio, the tall kid.
When we on?
Yeah. I was a rebound away from him hitting. I would have probably hit like $11K on a $5 ticket.
Oh, Jesus. That's so you want to hear something sick? My brother-in-law, week 1, NFL, he goes on FanDuel, does like an 8 player parlay for and what he thinks is anytime touchdown scorers. He puts it all through. It was a $20 bet. And all of a sudden, it's like $102,000. The payout was. And he looks and he goes, oh, first touchdown score. He goes, oh, fuck. Let me go back and change it. He changes it, right? He ends up hitting. I think he won like $1,500 for all 8 players or 7 players, whatever he picked. Ended up anytime touchdown scorers, they all score touchdowns. They all happen to be the first touchdown scorers of their games. He would have won $102,000 if he would have. I told him, I'm like, bro, just on principle, you should have left at least $5 on that.
Yeah.
I said, just because it was already there. And what losing $5 there isn't going to change your life. Getting literally would have been $26,000 or whatever it was, would have changed your life. Like, and then you would have kicked yourself for not leaving the 20 in.
Yeah.
But like, why wouldn't you leave even $1 on it? Get you almost 10 grand.
Listen, before I head out of here, the one thing I have to say that's really, really annoying is, I'm sure you guys do it too. Like I follow these accounts and I follow some Discords and stuff like that just to see, because you get these you get these guys that they're throwing like $300-$400 a ticket and stuff like that, and it's just like it's such bullshit that when I see, like, if I'm trying to follow one of these tickets and then you see somebody like they put a $10 ticket down and they hit for like 23,000. I'm just like, why can't that just happen once here? Like, why can't I follow a ticket just once? And like I said, I've come close because that 11K, I followed somebody that, I see him on Twitter or like I said, or one of the Discords or something like that. I'm just like, what am I missing here? Like, why can't it just happen to me? And I think it was like, I think I saw something recently, some crazy thing. I think it was a basketball game, maybe a couple of nights ago, where the method of the first basket was a foul shot. and they put $50 down and won like 18 grand, and it happened to be a foul shot on the first basket. It's like how do these guys do it?
It's photoshopped. There's no way.
Some of them do hit it, and it's because if you just take ridiculous shots all the time, I don't believe the ones where it's like, oh, I had $800 on it. Like, no, the fuck you didn't. You didn't put $800 on a 1 in 106,000 chance. Like, it didn't happen. Like $4, $2, I understand, right? But that, like, those tickets that are like, it's like, come on, dude. Like, there's no way you just luck chucked a $7 million bet out there like that and nailed it.
The one that cracks me up,
happens, but not that much.
The ones that crack me up are the dollar ones that they put out to try to win $1 million. That's the ones that crack me up.
So I wanted to say before, because TJ was talking about how like group betting is the best thing. So I have our friends Matt and Rich and Chris. Rich's other friends got involved. There's like 8 of us in a group. And one day we were Nick and we're like, oh, we have this is back in October. So we're like, oh, Nick, we have a group of guys that we make a parlay every year. Every week. We each pick a different leg of it for the 8 weeks. And we hit on, like, I want to say like week 4 or 5, like $2,000. So we tell Nick, like, oh, we all tweet out, like we all text each other, like, here's our picks of the day. This is whatever. And Nick's like, you guys are a bunch of degenerates. I'm like, that's what the group chat's called. Like, we literally called the group chat degenerates.
Dude, I have my own degenerate gamblers group. Like, that's my group chat with a few people from my old job. Like, it's degenerate gamblers, and we just send our tickets to each other. Yeah,
and it's funny because what we do is we have Rich is in charge. Rich, TJ. Rich basically is in charge of it. He goes, all right, each you guys have a game. So what we do is we usually pick just a 1 o'clock games. Usually that's most games, like 7 or 8 games a week. And he'd be like, all right, you take this game, you take this game. And he gives everybody, there's 7 games, there's 8 of us. He'll put 2 guys on 1 game. And we each pick a leg, whether it be anytime touchdown scoring, a stat, whatever it might be. You can even pick the spread of the game, whatever you feel like is going to win that for that game. And then we each put it into each other. We find it, we put it in, and then ends up being like with 8 legs. I mean, you get good odds. Like it's usually like plus 1,200.
Oh, listen, that's a good way. 200,000. That's definitely a good way to do it. But did you see that crazy graphic the other day? I mean, you guys, right? I know, Ant, you're in Jersey. TJ, you in Jersey as well?
That's an island, baby.
Oh, you're in Staten Island with us. So did you see? I think it was New York topped the list at like 2.3 billion in revenue when it came to online gambling.
Yeah, I believe it.
And Jersey was in second.
Of course, because if you all of a sudden going to offer people options where it's like, oh, hey, you can bet and not almost, die or lose your legs or, get woken up in the back of some dude's car. It's like, yeah, let's do that.
That happened.
95% of bets that come in are parlays, which they get paid on.
Yeah.
So, like, if you don't play a parlay, like, you have a better shot of winning. But people love the parlays because it's instant, instant
and it's also more money. You go on a straight bet if it's like a minus 110 bet. I mean, what do you really got to put something down in order to?
That's the whole thing. That's what makes it exciting. Like I don't get excited by wagering $50 to win back 45 plus my 50. I get excited when I throw down like $5 on the exact score of the Ranger game, and it fucking hits, and you end up with $250 for a $5 bet. And it makes it even more epic when it's like, why would you pull the goalie again? No. And then they miss like 3 shots. And it's like, thank God I still won. They suck.
But I think the crazy part of that number, the crazy part of that 2.3 billion, I think a lot of it generated when all the New York teams were still playing. You had the Yankees and the Mets deep in October.
Yes.
You had already had the Knicks that started, the Jets, Giants, the Rangers, Islanders, it was like when they had all New York teams going, it was like insane, and the amount of money that I think it was finally, like, there's not many smart decisions made, but that was probably one of the smartest decisions that were made. And look at how much money it's bringing in. But interesting to see where that money's going. But whatever.
Oh yeah. We'll see.
Speaking about money, actually, while we have you,
go ahead.
So the New York Rangers, the clusterfuck that is the New York Rangers right now, and the New York Rangers media. What? Okay.
Good job. Couldn't do it.
So the clusterfuck that is the New York Rangers now, and everybody freaking out, like, how can you put Chris Kreider on the chopping block and oh my God, and he's an iconic Ranger. Even Stan Fischler came out and said, oh, but he's an iconic Ranger and all that stuff. You know what's become more iconic? Not winning a fucking Stanley Cup. Okay? You know what else? Like, you can't, the same bandwagon Ranger fans, typical New York City, I want to be part of the culture, but I don't really give a shit about sports, right? That fan is the one that's like, I love Chris Ryder because he's like the only Ranger I can name off the top of my head. If you ask me, I don't want to see him go. It's like, let's call a spade a spade. It's not a family. It's a business. When nobody is outraged that Igor Shesterkin started the year by saying, yeah, fuck you and your $88 million for 8 years. I don't want $11 million. I want to be the highest paid Ranger on the team. Yeah, obviously it's a business, right? So you got to make rash decisions. We tried to ship Trouba the entire offseason. It wouldn't work. Couldn't happen. Couldn't make it happen. Mika Zibanejad, nobody will take that man's contract. You could pay 75% of it, and you still couldn't find a team to take him. So Mika, you're stuck with. Now you have to throw some bait out there, and Kreider was the guy. And what does he do? He comes out and kind of gives an injury report when asked questions about the whole situation. And people are defending it, not understanding that hockey and teams don't even have to specify what's injured on you. They say lower body or upper body. That's it. And Chris Kreider's going out there telling people, oh, hey, I got this going on. Pretty much saying, I'm going to screw the Rangers out of not being able to get anybody to trade for me. Then now also eliminating trading for Trouba because that was the chip, right? You use Kreider to bait somebody in and try to get some kind of multi-team deal, move some bodies. Like, Chris Drury has to either gain control and fire somebody or fuck off because you literally just got all your trade ideas blown up by your own fucking guy.
All right. So here's the thing. Number one, unfortunately, no one's getting fired. Laviolette, I don't think is the problem here.
No, not at all. I don't think it's Laviolette. I just think it's when a player goes outside the realm of what's acceptable and it's from the outset from a non-hockey person, it doesn't seem like a big deal. But when you're a hockey fan and you see how teams guard, especially going into the playoffs, who has what injury because it's a fucking man sport and somebody will put a stick in your ribs if you have a cracked rib.
What's really interesting is under Glenn Sather, there was never anything leaked, barely anything leaked out of this organization. So it's really interesting at how so much information from this team has been leaked. And listen, maybe at this point, maybe it is a tactic. Maybe this is like the new school GM way of having to leak these things. The problem is that, and I was skeptical from the start that trying to run this same team back was going to be a problem. And we're seeing it. It is a problem. And very rarely do I agree with Larry Brooks because I can't stand Larry Brooks. I met him a couple of times when I covered the Rangers. He was just a cocky, arrogant prick. But I do agree with him that there's tension in the room, that Chris Drury didn't want to bring this team back, but really kind of had no choice because of the cap situation and all that. And I think he was trying to probably bide the time of, all right, we have to accrue deadline cap money for me to make significant moves and stuff. Yeah, you know what it is? I think what he's trying to do too is it's one of these tactics in the sense of how do I wake up a room where I got to put a little bit of a, ultimatum out there. Like,
you got to light a fire.
Get your shit together, or I'm going to start moving some guys. And look, they want to trade people. They want to have a shakeup here. At the same time, I think he's also trying to clear out some cap space because I think his priority is still trying to sign Igor Shesterkin. He needs to do that. You also have to think about what the free agent classes that are coming out. Listen, after this season, I believe there's only one more year of Mika Zibanejad's contract. I think there's then only 2 or maybe 3 more years of Kreider's contract. The other thing too is this team is getting older and that window is closing, but I still think Igor is one of the best goalies in the league, and I think he probably deserves the $11 million that he wants,
But see, he was offered $11 million. He wants 12.
Yeah,
he wants 12 and a half.
12.
He wants to see
I think the number is going to come. I think the number is going to come anywhere between like 11.5 and just under 12. Maybe he gets 12, and I'm okay with that
See, that's crazy.
The league,
then you have a Carey Price situation. I get it. I understand.
There's goaltending is horrendous around the league. And who are you going to put in this situation? Okay, Jonathan Quick, he's playing really well. He's also going to be 39 years old.
I'm with you.
So
I'm with you, but it's not about it's about calling a player's bluff at this point.
Oh no,
it's about telling Igor Shesterkin, yeah, we offered you $11 million last year. Our offer is now $9 million. You want to fucking go play in Columbus or somewhere else in mediocrity for 10? Bye-bye.
It also isn't helping that he really hasn't been playing well, but I think this is also, if you've seen the last 3 or 4 years, this is usually the stretch of hockey for him that's actually his worst. This is where he has his worst stretch of hockey, and then for something just flips in his head, and he then becomes this incredible goaltender. Look,
100%.
I also think they don't get where they got last year without him in the playoffs. I mean, he was just playing out of this world.
I agree, but I think that handicaps them because once again, you have Henrik Lundqvist back there. You have somebody that you can rely on. So the defense gets fucking lax, and that's what happens. And then you're allowing defense. Once again, dude, Miller being with Trouba and a pairing is a fucking joke. Like, stop. They don't work together. You got to stop.
Not to mention, like we were talking about before, like they need scoring. Like that's. The NHL is now built for scoring. It's the same way like the NFL is. Don't worry, defense is still great. People want defense. There's more urgency and more, like it's just more favorable towards offense now. And I think it's the NHL is kind of moving that way too to make people more excited and watch their sport. And I feel like, it's great to have an amazing goalie back there, but is he worth $12 million in the cap when you already have dead space with Trouba not doing what he's supposed to do?
Right, we're going to end up like Montreal with Carey Price.
It's not worth it. It's just not worth it. And
if you look at it,
Mika, I trade Igor, I trade Kreider, whatever's on the table to get this team to a championship. Whatever needs to be done needs to be done.
If you look at it as well too, you have to build your team like the Florida Panthers did, right? You need that gritty scorer. You need like those scrappy players. You can't just rely on your top six. You need four lines, and your third and fourth line needs to be your big guns too that could get those scrappy, dirty goals. So listen, it's a mess right now. It's 100%. I agree. It's a clusterfuck, as you called it. I do believe in you got to wait it out a little bit because it's going to be really tough to make a big deal at this point. But I do think that Savelli put out earlier today that there actually is a lot more chatter for this time of the year than there has been because there are some teams that are just not thrilled with the way their starts are.
Right, they're looking to shake it up.
It's going to be interesting to see what goes on, but I got to jump out because the baby's crying. So, listen, it's always good talking to you. And again, congratulations again, man.
Thank you. Happy Thanksgiving. And
all right, happy Thanksgiving, fellas.
Thank you, Joe. Appreciate it.
Later.
Come on.
Thanks.
That's awesome. So excited to make tickets now.
Congratulations, dude, and absolutely remind Joe to get us the information so we can tweet it out because
100%. They had some good stuff. I mean, it's already been raffled off, but they still have some stuff already. He had
listen, anything we could do to help raise a little awareness and raise some money for breast cancer, especially Joe losing his mom. It's just anything we can do to help. Absolutely, let's get it. So as soon as Joe can get us that info, we'll throw it out there.
Yeah, he had Anthony Rodeo tickets. They went out immediately.
I can only imagine. Yeah.
Eric Del Salzandra, whatever his name is, the Staten Island guy everyone loves. Eric.
Oh, okay, yeah, I know who you're talking about. The only thing I know, the Anthony Rodeo is because Rodeo is I make fun of my wife all the time. She's like, "This is so funny." I'm like, "It's not though." She's like, "How is it not funny?" I said, "Because everybody I know at work is like this." I was like, he's parodying like Staten Island Italians and how they really are. Like,
it went out quick.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like I work. His characters are people I work with. Like, so I don't find it amusing. Sorry. Like, I'm not discounting the guy.
Yeah, people do love him. Yeah, that went out quick, and I put in for the Lindgren. He had an autographed stick by Lindgren. I know he's playing terrible defense, and he probably needs that stick, but
but he's not doing that terrible, bro. It's just listen.
The parents are bad.
You know what? If anybody gets a pass, it's Ryan Lindgren. The guy's a fucking warrior. He's bled more for this team than anybody else on the team right now. So
he is. He's one of my favorite Rangers. So
yeah, dude. Listen, guy can have a bad fucking season, or that he gets a pass. At this point, and I know it's crazy, and I know it'll never happen, and I know it's just hogwash, but like you want to throw, I would love to see the Rangers shake it up and put it in the media, like, hey, we'll trade the Pittsburgh Penguins Igor Shesterkin for fucking Sidney Crosby.
I'd do it in a heartbeat. I really would. In a heartbeat.
Just so Igor can see what it's like to be in a city that's about to fucking start a rebuild and not go anywhere for a little bit. Which, I mean, listen, if anybody can rebuild under the leadership of, like, Mario Lemieux still running the show in Pittsburgh, I'm confident in their ability to. But, they got a lot of aged players making a lot of money. Can you imagine? And it's just to be a scumbag to see Sidney Crosby raise a Stanley Cup in Madison Square Garden in a Rangers sweater. And that's what Pittsburgh has to deal with. Because they retire his jersey the second he retires. But they have to know that he won a Stanley Cup here.
Listen, whatever gets it done to have a Stanley Cup be raised in Madison Square Garden, I
will say I'm all for that, other than like anybody, but I can't support the fucking rat from Boston. It's not gonna happen.
I mean, yeah, it's not gonna happen, but I'd be okay with it.
You would no.
What if they won a championship with Sidney Crosby?
No, not Sidney Crosby. If fucking what's his face from Boston came down and joined the team, I would have to tune out.
Who's that?
What's his face? Dude, I'm having fucking COVID brain.
Pasternak?
I hate his. No, not Pasternak. What's his face? Everybody hates his guts. Help me out.
Oh, Marchand.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't hear you say that. I thought you were talking about if Crosby.
Yeah, no. He would be the exception to the rule. Like, I can't support a team if he's on it.
No, Marchand.
That Marchand's a piece of shit.
If it went to championship, I probably couldn't do it.
But yeah, at this point, it's like, and I understand where Ranger fans are coming from and the love affair with these players, because you fall in love with them because Chris Kreider does amazing things. You know what I mean? And Mika Zibanejad has been one of those guys that has done phenomenal things. This year has just been horrible for him. He looks like he does not want to be there at all. And you cannot fall in love with players and put a player over the betterment of the team. The goal is to win a Stanley Cup. The goal is to have a team full of players win the trophy and, carry it down the Canyon of Heroes on a ticket tape day parade. Not who's the one wearing the sweater. Obviously, I'd love to see Igor Shesterkin stay here and win 15 Stanley Cups, right? I would love Chris Kreider to be here. I would love Mika Zibanejad to play out his contract and be a 50-goal scorer. It's just that we don't live in a land of fucking sugar and rainbows and shit. Like, that's not what happens. You have to make deals. You have to make moves.
And the problem is Mika has not lived up. Like, he's lived the contract up to this point. The last 2 years has been.
I would say that after last year's playoffs was like dude, you're on kind of like everybody's last nerve. You didn't step up. And then he followed it up with what's going on this year, which is why everybody fucking hates the guy. Because
you have like even during the regular season, he didn't have a 5-on-5 goal. Like, it was always a power play goal.
But at least he was scoring. This year he's whiffing. They're feeding him over there by the hash marks, and he's literally missing the puck.
Yeah, and that's his job. Like, he's got to hit that. And yeah, I mean, listen, I was in the store the other day, and somebody walked up to me and said, "Not having a good year." And I assumed I had my Giants hat on. It was a Ranger hat. I was like, oh fuck, it kind of does suck if someone's already pointing out. Listen,
what's crazy is they're 1 win streak away from being right back in the mix.
Yeah, 100%. I don't think
they go on a run and win 7 out of 9.
I honestly thought I had my Giant hat on when the guy said it to me. I thought I was wearing a Giant hat. I was like, yeah. And then I went in the mirror and I'm like, oh shit, I'm
Well, it's just because everybody else around, like, you got the Hurricanes doing well. You got everybody doing well. The Devils are lighting it up. The Rangers are just stagnant. They're doing nothing. They're losing the teams that they should be blowing out.
Yeah, they should be. I mean, listen, the last 2 games have been bad. It was I know they're playing tonight, but it was 5-2 to the Blues. They lost 6-2. Oh, the Oilers, I get it. The Oilers you have freaking, what's his name? I'm Jordan Blank. McDavid there.
Oh, Connor, yeah.
I mean, he had a sick goal against Quick. Like, he put everyone into a blender, dude. And it was
but he does that to us. He does that to everybody, though. It's like
he's the greatest player in hockey right now. Like, it's what it is.
Yeah,
like it's frustrating to watch. Like, we're like, all right, that's the Oilers. We get it. Lose 6-2. But then you come to play against the Blues, it was 5-2 at home. Like it was like, come on. Like and it's such because I was staying up late. They had the West Coast swing. I fell asleep during the Edmonton game, but I was staying up late and watched those games. I was like exhausted. And then you have a freaking Edmonton game. I was watching it. It was like 10:30 at night. It was like 2-0. I fell asleep. And I'm like, I woke up. It's like 6-2. They lost, and I'm like, thank God I didn't stay awake for this. I would have miserable.
So to close out on the misery of being a Rangers fan, I think the only thing that's really I think the thing that's getting everybody's goat is after the offseason with Trouba essentially saying, no, I'm not letting you trade me anywhere. Nope, my wife's job is here. Too bad. My needs are more important than the fan base and the fucking team. And then now Chris Kreider leaks like injury shit. So now once again being like, yep, no, my needs are more important than what the Rangers organization is doing. That's the only reason I'm like something needs to happen. Some heads need to roll because it's like, yeah, that's not how this works. This is the business, and the business is winning or fall into mediocrity and not make money. And that's the last thing the Rangers want to do.
I would say the one bright spot so far this season is Will Cooley.
Oh,
he's
big
playing. Was that
big time?
He's playing out of his mind. His also amount of, I forgot how many points he has, his goals.
Bro, playing out of his mind and a lot of grit, a lot of old school.
Yeah, he's getting people's faces too. I love it. He's really coming to his own this season. I like it.
Capo Caco's doing well. Lafreniere doing well. Two guys that the fucking Rangers fans, these geniuses that want to sign Igor Shesterkin for $75 million a season wanted gone 2 years ago. And Capo Caco and Lafreniere are probably Lafreniere, especially the way he started. Like, you want to talk about somebody that's like, all right, yeah, this is why you wait people out, because it takes hitting like the 23, 24 years old, filling out to really come into your own in the NHL. Not everybody's going to come in at 19 years old like Connor McDavid or 20 years old.
And a lot of people wanted him traded for Kane. Like
that they picked up at the trade deadline anyway.
Well, yeah, not that. Yeah, it doesn't matter anyway. But
right, but it's irritating. But all right, enough of the misery.
Yeah,
enough of the nonsense.
We're gonna wrap up here though, because we're going a little long already. But it's fine. It's Thanksgiving Eve. We're having a little fun. But Saturday we're going to Army football.
Yeah,
excited for a little tailgating. Got your Army sweater on. It's gonna be cold, but we're gonna be out there hanging out with the cadet. What they call them, cadets? What are they?
Yeah, well, they're the students, cadets. Yep,
students, cadets, whatever it is. And listen, Army football not always the prettiest, but they're a lot better than they were most years. They were undefeated until they played Notre Dame last year. They got blown out, but last week, I'm sorry, they got blown out. But their quarterback has done something that's different than most times Army quarterbacks. Army quarterbacks usually just run the ball. This guy can actually throw it, which is exciting. The best is military academies. They don't throw the ball. It's always like the old school, just run it, punt.
Yeah.
Air Force is the first team in like, I don't know how many years. They won a game this past weekend. They had 0 pass yards. Their quarterback was 0 for 3 on completions. But the quarterback had like 150 yards rushing. And they won the game with 0 passing yards. And that's just military academy football. So I'm excited for Saturday.
So it's such a contradiction when it's like, oh, the Air Force. Yeah, you really led with air superiority on that one. 0 fucking yards in the air. Holy shit. But then again, it's like, we don't even have to go to the air. Everybody knows.
Yeah.
Everybody knows we dominate the air. We might as well take the ground.
Yeah, exactly. And
it's such a boring football to watch. It's so boring.
Yeah.
Just running.
I'm gonna look up who are they playing this week. What's their schedule?
Oh, I don't even know. Nick was like, "Hey, I'm getting tickets," and I'm like, "Hell yeah, West Point, let's do it."
It's UTSA. What is that?
I don't know. It sounds like a new type of birth control.
UTSA. It's actually, I think, the last game of the year before Army Navy game. It's still coming. They're called the Roadrunners, but I can't figure out what UTSA.
My father's like, "Oh, you going to the Army Navy game?" I'm like, "No, we couldn't get tickets to that. Come on, what are you, crazy?"
I'm looking. Yeah, that would be fun. It's the University of Texas, San Antonio.
Poor bastards have to leave Texas and come up here, deal with the shit weather.
They're gonna be freezing.
They're gonna be cold.
I'm gonna bet on that.
We're gonna be live betting from the stadium. Let's do it. We can't drink from the stadium. It's a dry stadium.
It's true. Well, actually, some college stadiums have changed that now. It used to be all college stadiums are dry, but obviously Army is a different exception.
Right.
Yeah, I'm gonna bet in like the rush yards.
Oh my goodness.
It's gonna be fun.
Listen, it's definitely gonna be a great time. So
yeah.
All right, pal. Before we wrap, what are you looking forward to the most for Thanksgiving tomorrow? What's the thing that's like, all right, this is the staple. If it's not here, it's not Thanksgiving. Like whether that's what's something on the table, the food, the wine, if this family member's not there, like what is it?
So I go to my my wife's family for Thanksgiving. I don't really see my family for Thanksgiving anymore. We used to like split it up, but it's just too insane.
Yeah.
My brother-in-law is around the corner, so we're really close. Yeah, I like some of the food. I like mashed potatoes. Like mashed potatoes is my favorite. Like if it's not there, I'll be upset.
I agree. You see, it's funny, and I love turkey. Don't get me wrong. I can sing fucking love songs about turkey. However, when it comes to Thanksgiving, the sides are like the main focus. Like I'm loading up on everything. My plate is like stuffing, corn, mashed potatoes, sweet potatoes, a biscuit, and then it's like, all right, then the turkey, the gravy on top, and a little of the cranberry sauce. But no offense to the turkey, it's all about the sides on Thanksgiving. I will sit there and eat sides. I will go up for seconds and thirds and have no turkey on my plate. I'll be like, I'm done with the turkey. It's time for the sides.
So I like the turkey, but obviously turkey is some parts are really dry of it. Some of it, like it just happens. Like no matter how you cook it, you need the gravy on top. Like turkey,
100%. But like after like two slices of turkey, like two nice thick slices of turkey, I'm kind of done.
Yeah, I don't go too crazy with turkey. I do love it, but yeah, it's the stuffing. So what happened was we recently I'm gonna tell a story, but my sister-in-law.
Yeah, somebody's gonna get in trouble.
She I think one year she made the stuffing with like sausage in it, and she was like, "Oh, like stuffing with sausage, isn't that really good?" I'm like, yeah, like my dad has to do this for years. Like this is amazing. I'm like, but take the fruit out. Like she put apples and cranberries in it. I was like, just do the bread and the sausage, it'd be fine. And she's like, "You don't like the apples in it?" I'm like, I don't need fruit on Thanksgiving.
Oh, that's funny.
I'm like, I don't. It's Thanksgiving. You're supposed to be unhealthy. You're supposed to eat everything that's horrible for you.
Oh, big time. A little
bit of fruit. Kick it to the side. I don't eat apples and cranberries in my stuffing. Sorry.
Listen, if at the end of the night, if you're not like getting into bed going like, oh fuck, I gotta get on a diet or I'm gonna die. Like you didn't do it right.
Yeah. The best is my grandmother used to do on my mom's side. Where, you know, when mom's spotted they're Honduran. So they do like a Spanish stuffing. So there's no bread in it whatsoever. There's no like additional. It's just meat and like raisins and like a Spanish seasoning. Delicious. It's really just meat. And there's a little raisins. I know I said no fruit, but with the raisins and the meat mixed together and like that Spanish seasoning, incredible. We don't need the bread with it. It's just amazing. So
I'm a bread guy, but I'll try that.
Stuffing and mashed potatoes, so good.
And then I think the follow-up the next day, making yourself just a kitchen sink sandwich of everything from the table. Oh, yeah. Like, yo, just scoop one scoop of everything, throw it in between two pieces of bread, dunk it in gravy, and throw it in the microwave.
Yeah.
You can't beat that. You cannot beat that. It just I took off Friday for that feeling. Like I'm supposed to go to work on Friday. I'm like, yeah, no, put me in for a day off. I'm waking up at like 11 o'clock and then having one of those monster sandwiches.
Yeah, I love that too. But well, I think that's it for today. Hope everyone enjoyed it. We mostly just bullshitted. It wasn't really many sports stuff. A little bit of rain.
This was just an excuse for me and Rook to talk to each other.
Yeah, it really was.
And Joe, we got Joe Sikoa on here. Rook wins tickets. Rook's having a good night.
I'm excited. I'm going to tell my wife right now. I texted her already. She didn't answer, but I'm going to tell her. I just heard her put my daughter to bed. So, all right, guys. Thank you for if you spent your time with us. Thank you. We appreciate it. Happy Thanksgiving to all.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Watching. Happy Thanksgiving, TJ. I hope you have a great Thanksgiving. Enjoy your food.
You too, brother. You and your family.
And your wine. And even though the Giants are playing, enjoy some football besides the Cowboy-Giants game because they're both abysmal.
I'm looking forward to the Detroit game.
Detroit games will be good. And that's like the first game of the day.
Yep.
So I don't know why. Should be
always
second. Dolphins. Who's the Dolphins?
8:20. Dolphins, Green Bay.
That should be good too. That should be good too. Just good thing that you eat your dinner around the 4 o'clock window when the Giants.
So because we're double dipping, my parents we're gonna do it at 2:30, and then we go shoot over to my sister and brother-in-law's. So we usually get there for like kind of the end of dinner, dessert type of deal.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's the deal with Irish Italian families. It's like there's never too late. Like there'll always be food warmed up for you and a seat at the table, and it doesn't matter that I'll probably walk in on my brother-in-law either screaming and yelling at the TV or sleeping on the couch.
I'm gonna do money line parlay. Lions. Probably not gonna be good though, but Lions, Cowboys, and Packers. Let's go.
Wow, Lions, Cowboys, Packers.
Packers are away, right? It's not. It's in.
They're in Green Bay, and
they are in Green Bay.
They're in Green Bay, and I believe Tua is like 0-8 in like frozen weather games.
Oh, so Packers. All right, we got it.
Yeah, that might be a good parlay.
Yeah. All right. Peace out, everyone.